First of all, congratulations on researching and being interested in how to improve your life, how to lose fat, how to get healthy. The first step in a weight loss journey or any health journey is to educate yourself. And when I went into this, I basically immersed myself into videos just like this. I wanted to watch videos that actually, from people that actually got results, not people just talking about it. And I wanted to know some science. I wasn't going to be married to the science necessarily. Each person is different. I do think there are truths that will last the test of time, but I think you can get, I guess, too bogged down with what this study says, what that study says, and so I do think it's good to educate yourself. I'm going to try to give you some mix of science and practicality and what I know works. So I've basically been losing weight and gaining weight my entire life. I am almost 40 years old, so it's not like I was necessarily a young pup when I lost weight this last time. And so it is definitely possible. Really, any age it's possible. It does get more difficult the older you get. There's no doubt about it. However, if you stick to the basics that I will cover in this video, you will get there. And goals are important. I've always been goal oriented, and in this weight loss journey, I was goal oriented, but losing weight, losing fat specifically, you just want to be heading in the right direction about once a week, okay? The right direction means you're going down on the scale once a week, okay? And I'll talk about how I think it's important to track your weight, to write it down at least once a week on a day you pick that fits your schedule. And whether or not your goal was to lose a pound that week or 3 pounds that week or a half a pound that week, as long as you are going in the right direction, which means any type of a loss from the previous week, then you will get there. And that's what you got to remember. You don't want to go into it trying to lose the weight yesterday. You go in the right direction week by week by week, and you think, pile that up over a year, there are 52 weeks in a year. And just doing some quick math, if you lost a pound a week, which is very doable, that's 52 pounds in a year. So go in the right direction once per week. Set goals, which is great, but the most important thing is keep heading in the right direction. And what I'm going to tell you is going to allow you to do that. My primary method of losing, it ended up being 92 pounds, was OMAD, 1 meal a day, OMAD. Okay. Now, none of the pictures on here had me at 300 pounds because when you've hit an all-time high or you're as heavy as you've ever been, you don't want to take pictures. And so I had already lost, 25 pounds, 25 pounds before I even started the OMAD journey. I just lost it just by cutting calories, etc. But, and then I bottomed out at 208, although I was a little skinny for what I wanted to end up at. And so I ended up planing back out around 215, 220, which is pretty ideal weight for me. I'm about 6'2" and have a fair amount of muscle. I used to be an athlete. I have worked out the majority of my life, lifted weights. My muscle kind of went down during this journey, and then as I started losing the fat, I wanted to get back into it and start lifting again, because you can actually see your muscle. You can see definition. Once you get 30, 40, 50 pounds of fat off your body. So that part was kind of fun. But my primary method was OMAD. It wasn't 100% of the time. Okay. Which I'll go into some different methods here in just a bit. Now, even at my age, I did have on again and off again high blood pressure, headaches. I was always pretty active, but man, I'd be tired at the end of the day. I'd be beat. And, when you're carrying, it's like carrying around an 80-pound backpack, every second of your day. You carry around an 80-pound backpack, then you're going to be tired at the end of the day. And that's what I was carrying around. So my feet hurt, my legs hurt, and you wear out your clothes. Clothes don't last. And so there were definitely some physiological improvements that needed to happen just to feel better and get where I needed to get. As far as my weight loss background, I always bought into that thing that everybody heard a few years ago, that you need to eat smaller meals throughout the day to lose weight. You don't want to go too long without eating, because you'll go into quote unquote starvation mode. And that all turned out to be a bunch of garbage. Okay. We are designed to go through periods of eating and periods of not eating. That's how we have survived as a species. And all animals are like that. We go through periods of feast and famine, and our body is designed to handle all that. In fact, it's good if we go through those. Our body has things that it does. It cleanses itself. There's a word called autophagy. When your body, basically, it cleans out the trash. It cleans out the bad stuff whenever you go through a period of not eating. And it's almost like taking out the trash. And so our bodies are smart, and we are designed to go through that. But once I came across this literature and research, and I saw some people watch some videos just like this one, where people were really having some results by fasting, different lengths, but by fasting in general, then I was like, I was sold. I was like, I think this is it right here. I can feel it. So, I never bought into the starvation mode thing after that. That was over with. So I broke this kind of fear. It wasn't really a fear of fasting. It was just skepticism. And when I tied it to probably our ancestors, they may go days without eating. And then there's some more research about autophagy and things like that. Then I just connected to the dots, and it made a lot of sense. I personally could always eat a lot at one time, at one sitting. So OMAD kind of came naturally to me. Now, if you are a person that just can't shovel food into your mouth all at one time, you could still technically call yourself OMAD, but just get your food in within a couple hours, to make it like a 22-hour fast instead of maybe a 23-hour fast. That's all possible. The one mistake I think people make when they start, like, okay, I'm deciding I'm going to lose weight. is they feel like they need this big, giant support group of people that they know. Okay. Um, they just want to tell everybody. They want to put it on Facebook or whatever. Like, help me stay accountable. I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think that's a trap. I think it's a mistake because when you see that friend in a month from now or whatever, and you get negative feedback, or maybe you haven't had any gains, and a lot of them won't in their mind, they may not tell you, but they won't subscribe to this 1 meal a day thing or fasting in general. Fasting kind of had a dirty name for a while. It's getting more popular, but I really didn't want anybody telling me that, oh, that's not healthy. I'm like, well, okay. Do you think being 80 pounds overweight's healthy? No. So really, however, I need to lose this weight. It's a lot healthier than being 80 pounds overweight, pushing 40 years old. So my personal opinion, I think your immediate family, the people you're living in the same house with, need to know, obviously. But to share it with everybody, I think that's a mistake. What I did, and what I think is a great idea, is just let them start to notice. So, people that you're friends with online or whatever, you might see them every once in a while. And when they see you, you know what the greatest thing in the world is? They haven't seen you in 2 months and you pop in, like, oh my gosh, look at you. And that's how it should go. And now you have something that works. And so when you explain it to them, you have no idea how many people that will copycat what you're doing whenever you start to transform. So that's really cool. But I think keep it in house. Don't share it with the world. Just let people notice. And that's great motivation. I mean, it really is. Next time you get together at a family reunion, or maybe summer's coming up, something like that. Even a funeral. When I was losing weight, an in-law passed away. A lot of people that I haven't seen in a while, I saw, and they're like, "Wow, what happened to you?" So that's my opinion on that. Don't tell the whole world. I do believe in weighing yourself, getting a good digital scale. It doesn't have to be a high dollar one, but a reliable digital scale. You can weigh yourself every day. You don't have to. Some people love to. Some people, I do think it's good for feedback. Like, okay, I ate this yesterday and I weighed this today. Chart it. I think writing down as much stuff as you can. Honestly, the best thing nowadays is just your calendar on your phone. Color code it. Track when you ate, what you ate. And then you can put your weight on there too. And visually, you can just scroll back. I can go to last month. I can go to 6 weeks ago. What was working? So I was really doing well here. I wasn't really doing well there. Let's go look at what I ate. And I think that's a great idea to weigh in at least once a week. Pick a day, pick one day of the week, and write it down on your piece of paper. You can just get a notebook paper, like you see in this video. Just a piece of notebook paper. I think a handwritten piece of paper is perfect. It doesn't have to be fancy typed out on a fancy app or anything. Tape it on your mirror. Tape it on your bathroom mirror, your bedroom mirror, whatever, on your door, and write it down. I did have goals for every week, just so I could see, okay, if I did keep up with this goal, where would I be by this time? That was always something I liked. But like I said, as long as you're going in the right direction every week, then that's all that really matters. As far as working out, exercising. Now, once you start fasting and things, it's probably not a good idea to start just an onslaught of now you're fasting and now you're starting to work out. I don't think that's smart. I think get your eating routine down. Okay, get your eating routine down. For me, I've done a lot of manual labor, done a lot of construction and things, and just generally an active person anyway, outdoors type of person, even in my whole life, even when I was heavy. And but when you start getting when you need to get used to this fasting, and really after a couple weeks, you're pretty used to it, especially after a month. You're really used to it. And my suggestion is, once you start losing the fat and you start noticing the changes, then start thinking about, all right, maybe I'm going to do some biking, treadmill, elliptical, maybe some weight training, go to a class, you know, meet a buddy up at the gym or whatever. You can start chipping away at that. I don't think you start in the beginning though. It's unnecessary. You will lose weight with these methods without exercise and working out. You will lose. So now, adding some calorie burn, adding some muscle will certainly accelerate your fat loss, but isn't completely necessary. Now let's get into some different fasting methods. So for me, in my opinion, it's not really considered fasting unless you at least have a 16-hour fast. Okay, the mainstream fasting method is what would be known as a 16-8. 16 hours of fasting, an 8-hour eating window. Okay, 8-hour eating window could be any time. My suggestion for all of these methods is try not to eat too late in the day. All right, try to cut it off 5, 6 p.m. All right, a few hours before you go to bed. All right, you want to kind of get back into that fasted state kind of after you fall asleep and let your body kind of churn on some fat, kind of eat on some fat as you're sleeping rather than eating right before you go to bed. You have to digest. Your metabolism sucks at night anyway. So, so don't eat too late in the day, but an 8-hour eating window. So for instance, if you could kind of skip early, if you're like a breakfast type meal, and you could go eat at 10 a.m. and then your last meal is at 6 p.m. That's an 8-hour eating window with a 16-hour fast. On the topic of breakfast, I don't think you need to be eating breakfast if you consider yourself a faster. The morning time is a great time to churn through some fat because you will wake up in a fasted state, and you can prolong that fasted state. Really, I don't think there's any reason to eat before noon. And we're going to get into a couple other methods here, but just burn through the morning, okay? Burn through the morning, and you'll have some great results if you cut the food in the morning, okay? So after the 16-8, kind of the next step up would be, some people call it a warrior diet, but it's a 20-hour fast and a 4-hour eating window. Okay, this one's pretty effective. It's not as extreme as OMAD, 1 meal a day, but it is pretty good. You can get some good results out of the warrior, or the 20-hour fast, or the 24, or the 20-hour fast, 4-hour eating window. This typically is an eating window. Most people would do it 2 to 6 p.m., something like that. 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., something around there. Probably a couple of meals within that 4-hour eating window, and that's it. So you get all your eating done within a 4-hour window. Okay, and as far as eating in general, counting calories is great, but honestly, I never counted calories. If you pack your food into a tight eating window, like one meal or a 4-hour window, then as long as you try to keep it as low carb as you can, then you're gonna get your limit. I mean, unless you are a machine and you can just eat food and eat food and eat food and eat food. And I'm a good eater, but I got my limit. And you can get comfortably full, and you will stay comfortably full the rest of the day. You might get a little hungry right before bedtime, but it's not anything extreme. So the the next step after the warrior diet or the 20 hour fast would be OMAD, 1 meal a day. That's typically most people will have their one meal within 1 hour. So, you take your time if you have time. Maybe start out with something like a salad or something and build your way up. Shoot, whatever. Eat it over a couple hours if you want, but most of the time you're going to eat, and it's going to take you a little bit because it's a good amount. I mean, you're going to eat till you're going to be very satisfied eating one meal. When you should eat that one meal. Okay. So some people eat breakfast for OMAD. Okay. It's possible, but you will kind of feel hungry toward the end of the day. That's just how it's going to be. My sweet spot was around 2 p.m. because now it depends on your work schedule. All right. I was able to kind of manipulate my work schedule, but if you're like a 9 to 5 type of person, then I think it's great to just eat dinner. If you have a family and you guys sometimes eat whatever, heck, you could go eat out. It doesn't matter. I mean, even if you push a dinner till 8 p.m., it's fine. If that's your one meal, so you don't have to be crazy and just not go out to dinner with your family. But if you go out to eat, let's say you like to have a Sunday lunch, then eat the Sunday lunch. But you just pile it in. That's your meal. Okay. You don't eat before it. You don't eat after it. But the sweet spot for me, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., because like you're not eating breakfast. You're kind of getting through, and you're like, okay, by 2 p.m. I'm ready to eat something, and then you feel full. You feel satisfied. If you have ability and you want to put in a nap there, get you a little power nap, then you could do that, which I did a bunch. Like I said, I was kind of a manual labor type thing for my work, but and then you if you eat from let's say you eat at 2 p.m., one meal, then you're going to feel pretty good, and then you're going to go to bed, and you may be a little bit hungry sometimes before bedtime, depending on how much you ate, but generally 2 p.m. is pretty good. So I really liked it, and then you're definitely going to go to bed and go to sleep in a fasted state. As far as what you can drink and what to stay away from, I drank coffee. Now, what I did is I drank black coffee some. I did put some stevia in it, which is a natural sweetener. Sweet and low. I use sweet and low. Now, in the morning, I think is more important because typically people would drink coffee in the morning, although some people guzzle that stuff all day. But in the morning, if you're not eating and let's say you're pushing your first meal or your only meal to 2 p.m., you don't want to drink anything that would kind of break your fast or spike the insulin. You don't want to kick yourself out of fat burning mode in the morning by something that you drank. Now, if you just want to drink water, that's a guaranteed way to churn through some fat. Okay? If you do like your coffee and you can take it black, drink black coffee. Okay? Me personally, stevia worked just fine. I wouldn't really do the creamers. I wouldn't do the milk with it. Your body can kind of treat that as a little bit of a meal, kind of kick you out of fat burning. You'll get back in it, but kind of kick you out of fat burning, and you might as well churn through fat since you're really not putting anything solid in your body as far as food. So stay away from stuff that's going to kick you out of fat burning mode. in general, don't drink anything with sugar in it. Okay. So I drink a lot of diet sodas. I know there's a lot of stuff people, bad studies and science and all that stuff. I love me some Diet Coke. Drank me some Diet Coke. Didn't seem to affect my weight loss at all. But you do you. But I know for sure, don't drink sweet tea with sugar. Don't drink real pop, soda pop. Caffeine, I think's fine. Some people say no. Some people say yes. For me, it was fine. Like I want to reiterate what I said earlier. When you start losing the fat, and you start putting some pictures, like you see on this video, you start putting them next to each other, and you're seeing these positive things. You're going to want to start working out, and that is exactly what you should be doing. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. And so maybe you plan on it. Maybe you plan, yeah, maybe I'll get maybe I'll get a membership to that gym starting out. Maybe go there once a week starting out, just to kind of walk around a little bit, and plan on getting in there once you start kind of getting your feet wet with fasting and start losing some fat. The last two things I'm going to discuss here is you always want to pay attention to the scale, but how your clothes fit, and me in particular, how my belt fit. So I had kind of one belt that I like to wear. You will know if you have a favorite belt or a favorite pair of jeans or some clothes that like your fat clothes or your skinny clothes. But for me, it was a belt, okay? I knew that notch on my belt, when I'm heavy, that notch was tight. And when I'm starting to lose weight, that gets loose. So my belt was a big indicator for me. Take lots of pictures. Take pictures. I mean, a lot of pictures. And you might have 500 pictures by the time you're done. You might have 1,000 pictures. Take them in your underwear or shorts, shirt off. If you're a female, your sports bra or whatever. Some workout gear. Take them with your clothes, in your work clothes. Take them whatever, all kinds of clothes. Take them when you're at the pool, just so you can see what you look like, and take pictures. Take pictures. Take pictures. The final topic is you get to where you want to get. Okay, you get to where you want to get. What do you do now? We all know about the roller coaster that people have. They lose weight, they gain weight, they lose weight, they gain weight. The great thing about fasting is that you know how to do it. You've taught yourself how to do it. Fasting needs to be integrated into your life permanently in some form or fashion. Maybe you go to a 4-hour eating window. Maybe you go to an 8-hour eating window. Maybe it's just 2 meals. Maybe you just call it 2 meals. Okay. Whatever it is, getting in a decent fast, almost every day, but most of the days of the week, is going to keep the weight off. So have a plan. Maybe you love OMAD. Maybe I will work in OMAD about half the time now. A 2 meal a day thing is great for me, and OMAD, and I'll throw in a several day fast. So I fasted up to 10 days, just water only before. But have a plan after you get to where you want to get to, and obviously you're going to keep working out, you're going to keep exercising, and you're not going to return to 3 meals a day, snacks in between. You're not gonna return to a trip to the ice cream store once a week. You're not gonna do that, but you're going to transition. Your fasting is going to be a little bit different probably after you lose the weight, but you're going to have a fasting focused lifestyle, and that's what we're looking for. That's what's going to keep you healthy. Your body's going to regenerate. Your body's going to be used to it. It's going to feel good. So whatever it is, a fasting focused lifestyle is what you're looking for permanently, and it will probably end up with a 2 meal a day type situation in an eating window that's just as tight as you can get it, you know. But still live your life, still go to birthday parties, and still go out to dinner with your family. But now you know that you can integrate fasting with just about any lifestyle and have a lifetime of health. Well, I hope this was helpful. If there's any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to get back with you to answer anything you might have or give you any motivation. And but this is the start, and congrats on your new journey.